My name is Portia. I'm speaking on behalf of my mother, but
Have your name one more time. I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Portia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Off bat, we want the biggest bail for him as well. This is someone who set my brother up, who knew him, who grew up with him, who is in childhood photos with my brother, and you set him up to be gunned down in front of the courthouse. And I just feel like he should get the maximum punishment there is, because it was uncalled for. You had a solid mind to stop everything that was in order. You knew the victim, and you still decided to go ahead and have him murdered in cold blood.
Sure, the state will request cash bail in the amount of $1 million. I'll note that would be consistent with the co-defendant in this case, Mr. Cummins, whose initial appearance was, I believe, last week. As a condition of that bail, obviously, there should be no contact with Mr. Cummins, as well as the victim's family, or possession of any dangerous weapons. The complaint is fairly detailed, and I think I said this last week. While it might be long, I don't believe it to be an extraordinarily complex case. It's only long because it's describing video. The video itself is going to be the crux of the case, but it very clearly shows this defendant was driving the vehicle that was essentially engaged in stalking the area around the Dane County Jail, waiting for someone to be released. That vehicle is shown in tandem with another vehicle, moving in and out of locations just across the street from the courthouse, obviously waiting for the victim to emerge. When he does, that vehicle slowly follows alongside. At what point the passenger, Mr. Cummins, jumps out and does execute the victim right essentially in front of the jail next to the Madison Police Department. Those bullet holes are still in the sidewall of the jail. That shooter then jumps right back in the car with the defendant and takes off, and it is immediately pursued by police. Eventually, that car is engaged in a high-speed pursuit in daylight as people are moving around the city of Madison, over 80 miles an hour at times, with this defendant driving that vehicle. The car is at one point ditched over by the Alliant Energy Center, and everyone runs and is caught minutes after that, walking in various areas. This was obviously, the victim here was executed, but
Excuse me, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, the video audio just glitched up. Can I just repeat? And he's caught minutes after walking in various, and that's where I couldn't hear. Could you please start there?
Sure. He was caught minutes after ditching that vehicle in the area just around the Alliant Energy Center. Many people were endangered by this defendant's fleeing. Obviously, the victim here was killed because of the defendant and his help of Mr. Cummins. But many people around this community were endangered as he was driving throughout our community, going 80 miles an hour, trying to escape the police that were following him. Mr. Galtney has an extensive criminal record. He's been involved in shootings here in Madison in the past. I believe he's been to prison. He's someone who can expect to receive significant incarceration if convicted of these crimes. I believe it to be a very strong case based on the evidence that's already available, and the scientific evidence hasn't even started to come in. So all of those things considered, I think this is a case obviously worthy of $1 million cash bail. There could not be more of an incentive to flee these charges. Thank you.
As far as the conditions of bail, excluding the amount asked for, we have no objections. In regards to the amount asked for, we'd be asking for an amount of $50,000 bond in this case. As the criminal complaint indicates, my client was charged with a party to a crime, first-degree homicide, as well as fleeing and eluding. There's no indication that my client allegedly knew what was going to happen in regards to the actions of Mr. Cummins. There's no, there's allegations that my client fled once things went down, but I would state that I think $50,000 is more than sufficient in this case. That amount is certainly, I think we're, whether it's $50,000, $1 million, or $500 million, it's still a significantly large amount of money for my client to be able to post. And I think $50,000 is more than enough to ensure my client's appearances, and we'd be asking for that.